Hello and welcome to Wisdom Trek. This is Guthrie Chamberlain and I am your guide to wisdom. Thank you for joining us for our 7-day-a-week, 7 Minutes of Wisdom podcast. This is day 54 of our trek, and as we consider the daily nuggets of wisdom, one result that we should see in our lives as we grow in wisdom is how to manage stress more effectively. So today and tomorrow we will look at some of the causes, benefits, and dangers of stress. We are recording our podcast from our studios at the Big House in Marietta, Ohio. It is good that we're going to look at stress for the next couple of days. Our client workload this week has had many more interruptions and challenges than we had initially anticipated. Anytime our expectations are not achieved, then we will start to experience stress. I am certainly not immune to stress, although it is usually not quite as visible externally on me. I do find as I grow in wisdom and in maturity, I am better able to handle and manage stress. I am trying to understand and put into practice to relax when I have a situation that is not within my control. It then frees up my energies to focus on those situations that are within my control. My problem is, though, delineating when it is under my control and when it is not. I tend to want to control everything, and I think many of us suffer from that. Another aspect of stress that is hard to come to grips with is that stress is usually caused by our own selfishness. Life is not going the way we expect, and we don't like it. One good way to look at stress is to ask yourself, will this really matter next week, next month, next year, or 10 years from now? And maybe another question that we need to consider is, if you knew that you only had 6 months to live, would you be stressing over this particular issue today? As we looked at a couple of days ago, there are no guarantees in life. I understand that planning and preparation are very important, but let us strive to focus on those areas that are the most important. What is most important in life is gaining wisdom and insight while we're creating a living legacy each day. Or as Bob Marley would say, don't worry, be happy. So on our track of life today and tomorrow, let's look at some of the causes and cures for stress. Just as it is stressful on a hike when we become lost or when we spot a mountain lion or a bear, many issues in life do cause us stress. Stress can also be caused by carrying small burdens for way too long. Now let's use the analogy of a glass of water, which weighs slightly more than a half a pound. Do you think that you could hold that glass of water out with your arm extended to your side? Most of us could easily do that. The absolute weight really doesn't matter. It depends on how long you try to hold it. If you hold it for a minute, well, that's no problem. Now, if you hold it for an hour, you'll have an ache in your right arm. And if you hold it for an entire day, then we'll probably have to call the ambulance. In each case, it is the same weight, but the longer you hold it, the heavier it becomes. And that is the way it is with stress management. If you carry your burdens all the time, sooner or later, the burden becomes increasingly heavy and you won't be able to carry on. As with the glass of water, you have to put it down for a while and rest before holding it again. When you are refreshed, then you can carry on with some of the burdens. So before you settle in for tonight, put the burdens from work or your day's activities down. Don't carry them at home with you. You can pick them up tomorrow. They'll still be there. Whatever burdens you are carrying right now, let them down for a moment if you can. It is well known that too much stress is really a killer. Writing in Eternity magazine some years ago, Fred Stansbury talks about stress-related disease such as cancer, arthritis, heart and respiratory diseases, migraines, allergies, and a host of other psychological and physiological dysfunctions. And these symptoms are increasing at an alarming rate in our Western culture. Stress is pretty common to all of us in today's pressure cooker world. It is our responsibility, however, to do what we can to lessen the stress factors in our lives, wherever that is possible. To do this, I've listed the following 9 tips that may be able to help you. Number 1, know what your limit is and limit yourself to what you can really handle. Number 2, with stress comes pent-up feelings. Learn how to express these feelings creatively, calmly, and then get them off your chest. Number 3, accept the fact that some things can't be changed. Number 4, limit major life changes to as few as possible in a single year. Number 5, resolve all resentments immediately. Don't carry grudges or burdens that will just weigh you down. Number 6, make time for rest and relaxation. Make sure that you get sufficient sleep. This is very important. Number 7, watch your diet and your eating habits. You'll be very surprised on how changing your diet can change your stress levels. So eat healthy, smart, and don't overeat. Number 8, maintain a regular physical exercise program. This is such a big stress reliever if you'll just exercise on a regular basis. And number 9, ultimately, however, we need to learn to trust our life to God in all circumstances. As you think about stress, never underestimate a good long walk away from the fray. As we daily look with Wisdom Trek, the analogy of life being a trek, when stress mounts, if you are physically able, get out into nature and enjoy the solitude or the companionship of a spouse or a close friend, and make sure you relax. Take time to enjoy the journey, smell the flowers, and appreciate the Creator's handiwork. One thing I want you to think about is, how did Jesus handle stress? Well, Christ often went into a place of solitude during his ministry, sometimes by himself or with a few of his close friends. Mark 1:35 says, before daybreak the next morning, Jesus got up and went out to an isolated place to pray. Mark 3:13, after Jesus went up to the mountain, he called out to the ones he wanted to go with him, and they came to him. Mark 7:17, then Jesus went into the house to get away from the crowd, and his disciples asked him what he meant by the parable that he had just used. And Luke chapter 5, verse 16, but Jesus often withdrew into the wilderness for prayer. When you think about it, stress is the opposite of peace. With peace comes thankfulness. Even if your stress is self-inflicted, God will provide you with the strength that you need when you need it. A couple other scriptures that relate to this is Colossians 3:15, and let the peace that comes from Christ rule in your hearts. For as members of one body, you are called to live in peace and always be thankful. And then 1 Thessalonians 5:18, be thankful in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you who belong to Christ Jesus. And that means even the stressful situations. Well, that'll finish our podcast for today. If you've missed any of our previous podcasts, please check out Wisdom Trek at iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or on wisdom-trek.com. And tomorrow we will learn how to turn your stress into success. So please join us at our camp tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy. And if you enjoy our daily doses of wisdom, these little wisdom nuggets that I share with you, I encourage you to help us in the following 5 ways. Leave your name and email address on our website at the bottom right-hand corner of any page in the sidebar or on the daily journal page. This will allow us to update you with new and special information about Wisdom Trek. Number 2, leave us feedback about the podcast at wisdom-trek.com. Number 3, please subscribe at iTunes or Stitcher so that it will be downloaded to you automatically each day. Number 4, leave us a rating so that we can gain exposure for Wisdom Trek so that other people can come along with us each day. And number 5, share with your family and friends to journey with us on Wisdom Trek. Thank you for allowing me to share with you, to be part of your family, and to serve you in this way. The journal from this podcast can be found at wisdom-trek.com, where we also have pictures, tweetable quotes, wisdom nuggets, and free resources. As we take this trek together, let us always live abundantly or fully, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. This is Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and to create a great day every day. See you tomorrow.